Welcome, Leon, and it's wonderful to always have you back. And thank you so much for doing these series of videos with me. I find that uh, the work that you do at the Center for Transformation, Coaching and Living through your work and the work that you embody resonates so much with the work I do at Back to Source Coaching. And so to have you here and share your views is very special. And I do feel privileged and honored to collaborate with you on doing these series of videos and bringing your work to India. And today what I'd like to bring focus on is the whole corporate context. And the reason I do that is because in India, a large part of the coaching is still offered primarily within the corporate context. So
Yes.
my invitation to you really is to share with us your thoughts on how this amazing transformational work that you teach and offer through the Deep Coaching Intensive program, how does that lend itself to the corporate workplace, be it an individual coaching, team coaching, group coaching, or what has been your experience? If you can share a little bit about that, please.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a question that I get asked a lot because we have had many people over the years join the program who work within corporate organizations and not necessarily as coaches. They may be working in them as leaders or managers or consultants or facilitators within the corporate context. And they're trying to work through change or lead better or just show up as a more impactful presence in the workplace.
Yeah.
So they come into this course, and yes, there are going to be elements of deep coaching that may not be directly applicable into the workplace, particularly because we are working with some elements related to healing dynamics and some spirituality in there. There's some energy work involved. It all plays into it, though, in a couple of ways. And these are the two main things that people need to understand. The first is that transformation itself is a particularly unique process of change. And people equate transformation with change all the time. And there's a confusion there. So what often happens is, whether it's in corporate world or whether it's in the coaching world, people think, we're enacting change. So therefore, and it's significant change. So therefore it must be transformation. And they call what they do transformational work, when that's not actually the case. So a big part of this work is helping people understand what transformation itself actually means, both within the individuals. Like if there's an individual who's going through a period of quite significant change within their own experience and their own reality, how do we support that? Or if there's a team or an organization. So when you understand what transformation actually means, then you're also understanding the dynamics of transformation. And this is the area that the reality is most people, no matter where they are not really versed in the dynamics. They do not understand the inherent kind of struggle that transformation is. And so what happens then is that when people or organizations begin to transform or want to transform, very naturally, there's inherent resistance to that process, because the old systems, or you could say the vested interests, they're going to want to remain in place. And so they start to struggle against the dynamics of change that transformation inherently brings in. So if you are a leader or a manager or an executive and you're getting caught up in that struggle because you're resisting it and you can't figure out why people are resisting the change, and you yourself are caught up in the drama or the politics or the struggle itself, or even maybe kind of power dynamics within the organization, then you're not actually yourself in any kind of place to support transformative growth. So a big part of this course is saying, okay, so here's what transformation looks like. And if you truly desire to support transformative growth in another human being or in a team or in an organization, then this is how you need to be positioning yourself on an internal level, yeah? But that internal level then translates into how you position yourself externally with the team, like what you are in a sense holding space for and allowing or resisting supporting or pushing against within that changing dynamics. That's just a huge piece of the course. And we spend time with that. And then what relates to that, and that's that inner work that I'm talking about, is the second piece of this work is all about the presence of the coach. So deep coaching is presence-based work. It's presence-based work. And like many leaders, we're not often taught like how we cultivate a powerful presence. And we're definitely not really taught how to cultivate a presence that supports transformative growth in other human beings. Again, as a leader, manager, or as a coach or facilitator, how do you position yourself to support transformative growth on an inner plane? So if you're in an organization, for example, like a lot of organizations are caught up in fear, like you mentioned, toxicity, politics, like there can be power struggles, dominant egos kind of vying for their own interests. So if you are caught up in that because of your own egoic needs or your own fears, then again, you're not effective to support meaningful change or transformative change. So then what is that way of being? What is that way of presence that is the leader who supports transformative growth in other human beings? And so this course is trying to position that and create that inner awareness and that little inner level of presence where you're able to kind of move beyond the drama, the situation, the struggles, the challenges, and the resistance that's inherent in these kinds of change processes, really detaching from that and begin to listen differently, to begin to support differently. So we're starting to listen for like what wants to emerge, what's trying to happen at the deeper levels, not just at the surface, not just what the various interests may want to have happen, but at those deeper levels within the individuals and with the teams. And then we're starting to learn how we foster that forward, how we foster forward true transformative change, not just any change, transformative change, right? So that's what the DCI is about, is becoming a transformational presence in the world, whether you're a coach or a leader or a facilitator, counselor, whatever. It's about how do we become a truly transformational presence in the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the more that I hear you, the more I understand it's really about the way that I show up is really how the other person, whether it's my manager or whether it's my team or it's a group of people I'm facilitating, they will show up basis the way I show up. And what you're really teaching is teaching me to show up in a presence that is transformative.
Exactly. Right. So how you show up, and you show up in a certain way because you understand the dynamics of this level of change and you understand how to position yourself to support that. So the way that you show up relates to your understanding of this journey of transformation, as we're calling it. And then you're able to create these conditions, like these optimal conditions for people, as you said, to kind of meet you there. So you're the permission giver, you're the enabler, you're the way shower of a way of relating and connecting and interacting and thinking and creating that supports transformative growth.
Got it.
Right.
Thank you. And as I see the corporate space opening up and more that I engage with it, I find the welcoming of this whole healing modality that you spoke about, or the spiritual modality, because what used to be called as a human resource officer is now slowly being morphed into a well-being officer, and that really aspect that really takes in all aspects of deep coaching intensive as I know it.